Hello. If I look like a stoned zombie, then I look how I feel. I'm burning the midnight oil like an oil rig that's been bombed. Last night I spent way too much time fiddling around with audio and VSTs. And I also got a good reminder about high gain guitar tones, or how you should treat them. I had this one guitar track that was just bad. I mean, it was played well enough, but the sound was dull, kind of flat, weak. And I was using one of my own presets, so I knew how it should sound like, but it just wasn't there. Until I realized that I was using one of my own templates. I have a couple of templates for different styles, so I can just start. So there are all the VST instruments, all the effects, all the sends, all the routings are there, so I don't have to redo them every time I open a new project. So that guitar was going into a send, and on the other end of that send was a compressor with pretty harsh settings. And I felt like an idiot when I realized it, and that send is now kaput from that template. But if you have an interface and a guitar at home, or there's some other way to test this, you can try it yourself. Dial in the most powerful guitar tone, high gain guitar tone you can ever imagine, with that huge bottom end and biting mids, soaring highs, whatever you want to do with them. But when you're dialing your settings, do not use palm mutes. Whatever you do, don't use palm mutes when dialing in the tone. Then when you have your tone without any effects, only the amp, guitar, maybe a booster pedal if you like them, now start playing something that involves palm mutes. Especially if that guitar is in the mix, if you're playing along with other tracks. Doesn't sound that hot anymore, does it? It sounds godly, at least to your own ears, when you're playing open chords, or open power chords, for example. But when you start palm muting, it starts booming, it gets overpowering, it just doesn't sound good anymore. Well, if you don't know how to approach it, the instinctive way is to add an EQ, a high pass filter, and just high pass that problem area, or use an EQ to carve it out. Well, congratulations, you have just castrated your guitar tone. Because guitars need that bottom end in order to sound big. The right way to do it is to use a multi-band compressor. So you dial in the exact area, or you find the area that's causing that boominess when you're palm muting, and use a multi-band compressor only to tame that part of the sonic spectrum. So now when you're playing normally with open chords, it sounds good. Now when you're palm muting, the compressor kicks in only for that certain area, and it tames it, so you don't have to use EQ. And what comes to recording high gain guitar tones, I don't really think that you should compress just automatically, add a compressor. You shouldn't do that, because speakers and microphones are already compressing the signal naturally. So the only thing you need to do is to use high pass for the lowest part of the signal, and then a low pass filter for the ultimate highs, because you don't really need all that high end or the highest end. It's just usually it's only noise that's good to get rid of. And then just use some EQ to tame the area somewhere around 4K probably, and then just for the bottom end, if the palm mutes are getting overpowering, just use a multi-band compressor. Because if you use just a simple compressor, well, you can try this once again at home. Take a guitar tone, high gain guitar tone, Then add just a regular basic compressor and make sure to use the stock preset that usually comes with compressors, with VST compressors, that's named electric guitar. It's a tone killer in most cases. So, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And now I this morning I watched the Skazes vlog from yesterday. And yes, I mentioned Skazes quite a bit on this channel. And I'm a very long time viewer of his. I've watched every single daily vlog he has ever publicly uploaded. All 2,967 of them. Am I an idiot? Depends. But it tells quite a bit about me that a guy who's living in the UK with his wife and small boys, 2 small boys, talking about things, talking about victories and losses of everyday life, is more appealing to me than some other YouTuber who's, one, trying to catch my attention only for views, 2, is trying to sell me something, and or is trying actively to affect my way of thinking for their own gain. Well, I think you can do the you can connect the dots yourself. But he was talking about my last video where I was saying that is it all about money? Is it all about fame? Is it all about views? I don't remember what exact words I was using, but still. I feel, well, YouTube feels pretty alienating for me currently because I'm so damn naive that I'm still trying to find honesty from this website. Without clickbait titles, without clickbait thumbnails, without overly hyperactive outputs what comes to way people are talking, so forth. I'm just so damn naive that I'm still trying to find those few kind of strongholds and outposts of just doing things because of doing things. I mean, that's not, in my opinion, that's not part of vlogging. You shouldn't do things just to record them. You should just document what you do. But don't do things just so you can document them. Whatever. This is, I've talked about this before. But that's something that's been lost, in my opinion. Well, it's not lost. It's somewhere there still, but it's getting harder and harder to find. But that's how phenomena work in Western society. First there's something that's underground, then it gets into the mainstream. Mainstream monetizes the living fuck out of it. And then whatever survives goes back being underground. And I'm still trying to find that kind of an underground YouTube, not the dark web of YouTube, because I found it already. And I'm actively trying to forget. But still, it gets harder and harder to find channels that are about life, without trying to sell you their latest self-help book about life, if you see what I mean. And Skaz's channel is a perfect example. Just a guy with a camera living his life, documenting bits or sharing bits from it. And Skaz was talking about the early days of YouTube, and I actually went, well, yes, this morning when I watched that vlog, I actually went back and I tried to find the oldest vlogs. I mean, the old vlogs of YouTube, from somewhere like 2007, 2008, and I found those videos where just a guy sitting behind his desk with a webcam, this kind of a Logitech table microphone with the arm, just talking. And in the early days, people weren't editing their vlogs all that much. Jump cut wasn't a thing yet. So it was just one sentence droning on and on and on and on. It's like 45-minute videos, just because. And they were just talking, droning. And it was great. Because you can make, well, if we do kind of a this or this kind of split, you can make a vlog with fast jump cuts, fast editing, snappy. Less than 5 minutes, go. Or you can do what I do, which is just talking to the camera with minimum edits. I do edit some parts out, and for example from my latest video I forgot to add one clip, because that without any kind of editing that video would have been almost 40 minutes long. And that's not the whole idea. I'm not trying to make long videos just for the sake of long videos. And I've actually heard, well, people have accused me for making long videos because of money, because of advertising. Well, ad money. This channel is not even monetized. So what? And I haven't monetized this channel simply because of personal reasons. I mean, me talking to a camera about whatever is not worth the money. I mean, the thing that's valuable on Twitch and on YouTube is people's time. Those of you who are watching these vlogs are giving me your time. And that's what's important, not about the small amount of money that I would get if I would monetize these videos. That's not the point for me. And it actually, I had to, well, it was a poll that I did for my stream if I should take the affiliate opportunity I was being given about 2 years ago. And I actually asked from the chat, should I take it or not? Because all this thing about being a subscriber on my stream, it was just, am I worth it? I mean, most people probably just think, yes, I have an opportunity to make money, give me. But for me, it was a pretty long personal battle. Should I take? Am I worth their money? Well, they are giving me already their time. They are watching my streams whenever I'm streaming. But am I worth that €2.50 minus tax that they would give me by subscribing? Because I've never been interested about, well, for example, when it comes to YouTube, I've never been interested about subscriber numbers. It's the interaction that I'm after. I just bumped into 2 young boys. They saw me filming and they asked me if I'm a YouTuber. Well, yes. They said that I should start editing these videos more so I could get more views and more of that YouTube money. What did I just said earlier? For some reason, during this whole year, 2019, English has been my language of the internet. I've only been watching English YouTube. And that's mainly because there's, well, I feel that to me Finnish YouTube doesn't offer all that much, so I've been in the English realms of the internet, or in English realms of YouTube. And that's mainly because most of the content I like to watch is in English. I mean, all the kind of sent tutorials or reviews or people showing this and that and how to do this, how this machine works, for example, or how word lies in a broader aspect of the word. That's all English. I mean, Finnish YouTube is pretty much, well, it's entertaining. Well, let's not talk about the company's YouTube channels and so forth. Just take your average basic YouTuber. It's kind of a more entertainment to me. There's really not all that much to absorb, if that's the right word. It's just click, turn the video on, watch it, turn it off. Well, that's how I feel, and that's my personal view about things. If someone finds them interesting, well, yeah. And for example, my daughter has found YouTube big time, and she's watching Let's Plays mainly. There are a few vloggers she's also following, but it's mainly Let's Plays, and that's kind of funny because she's not a gamer girl herself, so she likes to watch other people playing games. But okay, and that's how I've actually discovered a few new games, just because she's been watching videos. But anyways, English YouTube kind of also feels like a home to me, much more than Finnish YouTube, just because this is where I started from. I started from English YouTube. So this feels a whole lot more natural, although it's sometimes, when I'm vlogging, it's sometimes hard to find words or remember the right words, which is extremely annoying because, well, you know that I know that word, but what is it? And that's my main gripe what comes to vlogging in English. But most of the things I'm interested about what comes to YouTube are in English, so why not? That's the whole point. You find something you like, and then you're trying to find more of it. And English YouTube is where things are for me. And well, some people don't like it, and I know it. Because if you are a Finnish YouTuber, you should be focused on Finnish YouTube. And I don't understand that kind of a coffee table culture is something that I just can't relate to. I do understand why, but it's just something I can't relate to personally. I just checked how much I've been filming today. I should be streaming more. When you're streaming, you can't just talk. But what comes to YouTube videos, there's a difference between a long video and a long-winded video, and it's always hard for me to strike a balance between the two. So let's stop this here before it's too late. So see ya!